Logan, in the Carter family, of course, Sarah was the one who played the autoharp, and you're going to feature some numbers there now on the autoharp. You picked out actually into what we would call an old fiddle tune.
Yeah.
What you going to do for us?
I'm going to do a tune called Liberty.
All right. Tell me, how long have you been playing the autoharp and the guitar?
Well, I started out on the autoharp. I saw that when I was about 15 years old, and I was on YouTube listening to Maybelle Carter. And I fell in love with it, and it just so happened there was a lady right down the road from me who taught. So it's probably been about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what about the guitar? When did you pick that up?
That was a couple years later. It took me a lot longer to learn the guitar because there's a lot more you got to put into that instead of pushing a button.
Well, the autoharp and the guitar are a vital part of what the Carter family did. And of course, Maybelle is the member of the family that became famous for playing guitar. Of course, most people who remember Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash, Maybelle was June's mother. And of course, they had a group. When the original Carter family stopped, Maybelle continued performing and eventually brought in her children, her girls. And June was one of those, Anita and Helen, and they brought together all the girls, and they had a wonderful quartet of female voices and talents, and they did some wonderful music as the Carter family themselves, and of course June went on, and they all went on as backup singers and would tour with Johnny Cash. But what brought you into liking the Carter family? What was?
Well, it was my great grandmother. Me and her were real close as I was growing up, and she tried to get me to listen to the Carter family music a lot, and I just was young and stubborn and didn't want to do it. So, but then before she passed away, I started liking it, and I said I wanted to buy my first autoharp, and that led me into loving the Carter family and trying to keep their music alive.
And back in a few years ago, of course, you used to come to our Share America concerts that we would have at the Ringo Depot, and I vaguely remember you getting a guitar presented to you some years ago, and then you became one of our 2019 Pearl and Floyd Franks Scholars, and you went to school. What did you do with your college work? I know you're out of college now, but what kind of degree did you wind up having?
Well, I went for business because that's really what you have to do around here, I feel like. But I did minor in music.
Mm-hmm. And where did you go?
I went to Chattanooga State.
Yeah. And originally you're from up in Tennessee. Where are you from?
I'm from Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, okay. So, and you've been touring around doing all kinds of performances, but you spend a lot of time up in Virginia because that's where the Carter family came from.
Yes, that's like my second home. I love it.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the shows that you've been doing up there.
Well, I recently just got back from the Carter Fold. We filmed a PBS special for young bluegrass players. We did a few songs to show them what it's like to be at the Fold. The Fold's like home for most people, and what the original Carter family sound was like.
Well, for those of you who are not aware, the Carter Family Fold, you can find it on the internet. If you, I believe it's carterfamilyfold.org, and it's been a tradition of continuing the music. Actually, AP, when he came close to the end of his life, he asked his children to, especially Jeanette, I know, was a major recipient of that request, to make sure that the original music that he and the Carter family started continue on. And they started out with having events there at the homestead, and they eventually built the barn, and this is back in the 1970s, about the middle 70s. And I think in 1976 they opened the barn up, and ever since groups have been performing and acts have been coming to the Carter Family Fold and performing, and you can do that, and that's in Hilton's, Virginia. And you can go there today and visit Hilton's, and of course you'll be able to see this young man on a PBS special. Do you know what the special's being called?
It's Bluegrass America, I believe. Bluegrass America.
So watch out for that on PBS, and you'll see him with your cohort. Now, who are you playing with on that show?
Well, Ronnie Williams is the featured person on the show, and I'm his backup.
Okay, so you look for Ronnie Williams and look to the right or the left, I assume, of Ronnie, and you'll see this young man. And we're very proud that he's continuing the traditional music of Appalachia. And as I said, all of the Carters are my kin folks. We're all Kilgore cousins, and Maybelle's mother was a Kilgore. Mm-hmm. Sarah's mother was a Kilgore, mm-hmm. and AP's great-grandmother was a Kilgore. So it was all Kilgores, yeah. Even though there's Carters in there, everybody's a Kilgore. So it's a wonderful family.
I've actually been to the Kilgore Fort House up in Nicholsville.
Yes. Smile in your life. When it seems the world has turned its back on you.